A lot of Boise State stuff coming your way in 1 hour. We'll talk with Missouri offensive coordinator, former Boise State receiver, and a very popular name in this town, Prater, Kirby Moore. We had older brother Kellen about a month ago. Today we have Kirby completing our Moore sandwich.
Nice.
You know, for the 50 and 3 club, the Kellen Moore Steakhouse we're going to open up,
yes, sir.
50 and 3 Steakhouse,
yes, sir.
There has to be something on the menu called like the Kirby, right? Or a booth or a section.
I like the section. That's a good idea.
A section, the Kirby section.
Yeah.
It's like smoking, non-smoking. The Kellen sections for people who you have to have a dress code to sit in the Kellen section, and the Kirby, anything goes.
I'm thinking about it. I like it.
Text us ideas.
Of course, my mind went straight to food, so I'm thinking some kind of appetizer or dessert or something.
The Kirby. Okay, yeah.
Do you really want to run a joint where you have to have a dress code, though?
No, good point.
Yes,
good.
I do.
Yeah, Prater.
For the Kirby and Moore 50 and 3 club, I don't want any stupid flip-flops or ragtag jean shorts. Yes, there's going to be for the Kirby and for the Kellen Moore 50 and 3 Steakhouse, there will be a dress code. Yes.
What should the dress code be for the 50 and 3 Steakhouse? Text us 208-424-9300. This is going to be a fun one. Okay, JP, what'd you put together? Some type of game involving Kirby and Kellen. We want to talk about what you got.
Well, we want to get your guys' thoughts on a little, sibling rivalry. We're going to pose you some questions, and you're going to tell me if you think it would be more suited for Kellen Moore or more suited for Kirby Moore. So let's see what you guys come up with. I've got about maybe 9 or 10 questions here, a little bit off the wall. But Johnny, let's start with you. Who is likely to become a head coach first, Kirby Moore or Kellen Moore?
I'm going to go with Kellen on this. I have more confidence that Kellen will have success this year in the NFL than Kirby will in the SEC. I'll tell you this, though. If Kirby and Mizzou end up having a great year, Kirby will be a head coach next year. That's how it goes in the SEC. They like the hot, new coordinator toy. But I just think Kellen and Herbert are going to be on a wonderful page this year, and that'll be tough for Kellen to leave, Justin, after just 1 year. And I say this every year. It is the annual prediction, Prater. I'm doing it again on June 26th.
June 21st.
Kellen Moore will be an NFL head coach in the year 2024.
June 26th, actually. Johnny predicted. All right, Prater. Kellen or Kirby, head coach first?
Yeah, I'm definitely with Johnny on this one. Kellen Moore's next job, he'll be a head coach in the NFL. I don't know if it'll be this year or next year or what. It may take a year or two, and that's fine. I mean, he's still young, and I'm not in any hurry to like Johnny is to make him a head coach. You realize when he's a head coach, he's going to be more difficult for you he won't answer your text message. You want him to be kind of the lower guy, because when he's head coach, then the whole text message coming on Idaho Sports Talk thing might be even more difficult for crying out loud. So
you're smart, man. Yeah.
I think Kirby will eventually be one. He's not going to get a head coaching job out of the OC position in Missouri. That's going to end worse than not, more times than usual. I'm not even putting the Kirby Moore factor in there. I'm just talking about the position, the school, and that program is not going to be successful. Kellen Moore is going to be a head coach soon.
Think about this. Bush took $150,000 less a year to leave the Mizzou OC gig for the Boise OC gig.
That tells you what that Missouri's job is all about.
Tough gig.
Yes.
All right, Prater, from what we know of Kellen and Kirby, which Kirby we know is not a whole lot. We don't know. Johnny knows him pretty well, but who was more likely when they were growing up to tattle on their brother? Kirby telling mom and dad on Kellen, or vice versa?
Ooh, that's a good question. I full disclosure, I've never met Kirby, never talked to him, never interviewed him. Wouldn't know him if he walked in this door because he doesn't look like Kellen. He looks like him a little bit. Remember when he showed up at Boise State with the long, straggly hair? Yeah. He looked like a vagabond hippie. Yeah. It was really kind of funny, actually. I don't know anything about Kirby. With that said, I'm going to go with the little brother because it's the little brother who always tattles. Big brother is not going to tattle on little brother. Kirby or Kellen was way too smart about that. It's usually the little brother. Mom, Johnny did this. Or
sounds like me.
Dad, Mike did this. It's always the little brother who's whining. So just based on that, I'm going to go with Kirby.
Kellen beat me again in Madden.
I had the older brother. That was me running up. But in this case, I disagree with my partner over there. I don't think Kellen did anything wrong for Kirby to ever tattle on. And if he did, Kellen was too smart. It was way over Kirby's head. Kirby was the one saying, Mom, Dad, I'm sorry, Kellen. Kellen was the one saying, Mom, Kirby did not fold the sheet on his bed when he was making his bed military style today correctly. Mom, Dad, Kirby didn't put his shoes away in the shoe bin. He just took them off and just left them on the area right by the front door. Mom, Kirby didn't finish his peas tonight. He gave them to the dog. I think Kellen, being the perfect son he was, I think he told on Kirby. Yep. Kirby was the little rascal running around with Kool-Aid all over his face, and Kellen was the one that said, Dad, Kirby snuck the Kool-Aid again. Just look at his upper lip.
All right, Johnny. Which high school stat was more impressive? Kirby Moore scoring 95 touchdowns in 4 years, or Kellen Moore throwing 126 touchdowns in 2 years.
I love this. I'm a historian of the WIAA, Prater, the Washington Interscholastic Activities Association. I played in the WIAA, and Kellen Moore and his brother Kirby rewrote the WIAA Washington High School records book. They're everywhere. But I give it to Kirby on this because Kirby, I love this stat, caught more touchdown passes than any receiver in the history of high school football in this country. His 93, by the way, I think it was 95. I'm sorry, JP.
95 is what
Kirby had 95 touchdown catches in high school at any level in any state. They've been playing high school football since the early 1900s. No career has ever passed that. Kirby's still number one, and he beat the record by 12 touchdowns. Number two is some dude with 83. Kirby has 95. Kellen was exceptional. Brett Rippon went on to break a lot of those records, but Kirby Moore, on paper, is the finest wide receiver statistically in the history of high school football in this country.
Prater, do you give Kirby the one up on this stat? Or?
Come on, Pray.
You know, I'm not a WEIAA, whatever the hell you said, expert. I didn't play in the WEIAO, but I'm with Johnny. I mean, we're clearly on the same page. 95 touchdown catches in high school. I don't care what the circumstances are. I don't care if it was one game, 19 years. I don't care. 95 touchdown catches in high school. Sign me up every time.
Crazy. Yep.
All right, Prater, if you were let's see here. While at Boise State, who would have been the better host on a recruiting visit, Kellen Moore or Kirby Moore?
Oh, neither one of them. If Chris Peterson was smart on recruiting weekends, he kept both those guys at home. I mean, if Kellen Moore shows up as your recruiting court, you know what recruiting kids, when they come here on Boise State,
where are the girls? Where are the girls?
Yeah, where are the girls? They want to do? Where are we eating? Where are we going downtown? And what are we doing after curfew? I mean, come on, man. Yeah, keep Kirby and Kellen locked up. I guess maybe if you brought the serious guy, and maybe Kellen hosted Kirby on his recruiting. I don't know how that potentially would have worked. I'm kind of cheesing my way out of this, but I want neither one of them anywhere near my recruits.
Wow. Prater's going off the wall here, Johnny. What do you say? Kirby or Kellen? Who do you want to hang out with?
Give this one to Kellen, but Prater is so right. Recruiting trips, you want to see pretty girls, you want to go to cool parties, you want to go to cool restaurants, you want to hang out. I mean, I'm just thinking, if you had Kellen host somebody later on in his career when he was Kellen Moore at that point, Kellen couldn't go to restaurants. I mean, but I'm thinking I would use that to my advantage. I have Kellen host the new quarterback, and he looks around, he's like, holy shnikes. This is what comes with being Boise State's quarterback. Nonstop autographs, picture requests. He's big wherever he goes. Oh, I want to go to Boise State because I want to be the next Kellen Moore. Kirby Moore, bless his heart. Kirby Moore could walk into the Albertsons down the street right now and no one would stop him. Mm-hmm. Kellen Moore would walk right in, and the first 2 or 3 people that saw him would be like, oh my God, that's Kellen Moore. So I would go Kellen there.
Good answer, Ballgame.
Thank you, Prater.
Very good answer.
All right, Johnny, if you were picking between Kirby and Kellen for a dodgeball game, who would you pick first?
Well,
as your teammate.
I guess I'll go Kellen because there's two schools of thought on dodgeball. I know you're not allowed to play it in gym class anymore. That's a bummer. I love dodgeball.
What? They
growing
canceled
up.
dodgeball?
You guys haven't? Dodgeball's been canceled for like 20 years.
Really?
Schools can't use it. It's bullying. So you can't play it anymore. But Kellen would obviously, the accuracy of Kellen, he doesn't have the strongest arm, but that doesn't matter. Kellen will throw the ball and he could place it probably on your calf or on your foot or on your knee and make it hard to catch, right? And Kellen Moore would just be a lefty gunslinger in dodgeball. But Kirby catches everything. If you catch somebody in dodgeball, you rescue one of your teammates. I'm still going with Kellen. Take the quarterback when it comes to dodgeball, especially with the accuracy. Kellen all the way, Prater.
Oh, that's a tough one, and it's hard to dispute Johnny's answer. I'm going to go Kirby because, one, Johnny's obviously showing his affection for Kellen. I think every one of his answers so far has been Kellen, so he's biased. I'll go with Kirby, the little brother with a chip on his shoulder. Kirby Moore was slightly bigger and maybe even more than slightly bigger than Kellen, right?
6'3".
Yeah, Kirby's bigger.
So I'm not going to sit here and say just because he was bigger and maybe pushing, 210, 215, that he had a better arm because he didn't. Kellen Moore had a freaking – well, he didn't have a rocket, but he was accurate and strong enough where he could, he could take your temple and put you into never land. I think Kirby Moore with a chip on his shoulder, just a little bit bigger, maybe just a little bit more vicious, and maybe he just has a little bit more of that mean streak. Kellen Moore had a killer instinct when it came to competition, but I'm going to say Kirby Moore, again, without knowing him, has just a little bit of a mean streak and a younger brother chip on his shoulder. I'm going to give him the slight edge in the nasty department.
All right, Prater, if Johnny Ballgame, sent Kirby Moore and Kellen Moore a text at the same time on a random weeknight, who is more likely to respond first?
What's the question?
The question is, I don't know what the question is. Johnny, what would you normally say? Can you dunk a basketball?
Yeah, I can answer this. If he sends out a question about football, Kirby Moore is going to answer it immediately. If he sends out a question about favorite snacks during football practice, Kellen is going to get back to him immediately because Kellen doesn't want anything to do with football questions with outside people. He may have a little fun with Johnny, and he does have a little fun with Johnny, so he'll go there. The post-midnight drunk text about snacks at practice, that's a no-brainer for Kellen Moore. Kirby Moore, any kind of football questions, he'll get back to you. Generally speaking, Kirby Moore is going to get back to you faster than Kellen.
What do you think of Prater's logic?
He's 100% correct. Okay. Kirby always, pretty much always texts back fairly quick. Yes, Kirby.
All right, Johnny, Kirby or Kellen, who is more likely to call statue left in a football game?
I like this, JP, because neither Kellen or Kirby were a part of the original statue left. That was in 2006. No one was there yet. Kellen was he was a senior in high school then. He showed up in 2007 and redshirted. So from what I've seen so far, I'll say Kellen. I think he's had a few more trick plays. I know he loves the halfback reverse pass or the receiver reverse pass. Cedric Wilson, the lefty, did that a couple of times. I haven't seen a lot of trickeration from Kirby yet. I mean, he's only been a play calling OC for 1 year in a bowl game. Remember, Kirby's he's got 15, 16 games under his belt as an OC. Kellen has several years, so I'm going to go Kellen on that. But hell, Prater, in the SEC at Missouri, they're not going to be favored in many games this year in league. Kirby might have to try to pull the rabbit out of the hat in that league.
Yeah, I just did a quick Google search to see if any one of them has called it, to see if, nothing comes up in the first 30 seconds, but Kellen Moore calls statue left, Kirby Moore calls statue left. I don't remember either one of them. I haven't seen, I maybe caught one game, maybe a couple of games at the most of Fresno State last year, so I couldn't sit here and say what his trend is for trickeration. Kellen is, I don't think he's big into trickeration, but he certainly understands the importance of one every now and then. I'm going to go Kirby Moore just for the heck of it. I think Kirby Moore, especially with a little bit more desperate play calling needs in Missouri, would certainly like to throw that out. He was a little bit younger. I don't know, maybe Kirby Moore. Let's go Kirby Moore.
All right, Prater, which Moore brother do you think watches more film on a weekly basis?
Oh, Kellen. Kellen is, Kellen goes home. I mean, he goes home and watches video. I know he's a beautiful family man. And I'm going to say that if Kirby watches 40 hours of video, of film every week, Kellen's going to trump him and do 50.
Like the older brother thing?
Yeah, plus that's just kind of what Kellen Moore. You've never really heard them talk about Kirby the way that they talk about Kellen, the way he had his nose in a playbook when he was 4, and the way he watches film. Yeah. Just Kellen takes it to a whole nother level.
Yeah,
I guarantee he watches film in his car on his way home.
Kirby he doesn't even drive. Kellen has a driver.
That's what I'm
so
saying.
He can sit in the back seat of the Lincoln and he watches film on the way
Like
home
what's
because
his face?
traffic's so bad.
Phillip Rivers.
Yes.
Phillip Rivers used
Kellen
to do
doesn't
that.
even drive. He's
Is that true?
Yes.
Really?
Kirby Moore. Let me say this. Kirby Moore was the guinea pig. Okay, he was Kellen would draw plays up and he'd go in the backyard and make Kirby run them. Okay, he was he was the tackle dummy. So I would agree that it is Kellen, but I'm sure Kirby. I'm not saying he's cutting corners.
No.
Right?
I just think Kellen takes it to a whole other level.
I think he does too.
Yeah.
All right, one more. Johnny, Kirby or Kellen? Which one do you think takes cooking more seriously? Who's grilling up a gourmet steak or something?
I'm gonna say Kirby on this. I think Kirby's. It's been tough being in Kellen's shadow. Think about this. Kirby wasn't just in Kellen's shadow here in Boise. Kirby's been in Kellen's shadow since he was in 7th grade, and Kellen was a varsity starter at quarterback as a freshman. They're 2 grades apart. So Kirby has had to look up to this larger-than-life figure. Again, look at Kellen's stats even as a freshman in high school. They're amazing, right? So Kirby's had to probably do more on his own. I don't know if Kellen Moore knows how to fix a grilled cheese sandwich. I don't know if he does. I mean, all the guy does, he's in the football laboratory. What was it? Taylor Tharp said the guy literally ate the same ham and cheese sandwich every single day. For the 2 years he knew him, he brings the same exact sandwich into the film room every single day, Prater. I bet Kirby's a little more creative in that regard. Plus, receivers, they're always a little more creative than quarterbacks. Give me Kirby.
I can see Kirby Moore standing behind the backyard grill, apron, smoke here,
Kiss the
smoke
cook.
there, just flipping burgers, flipping steaks, juggling shrimp on the Barbie, all kinds of stuff. And I can see Kellen asking his wife, honey, where's the microwave?
Yes.
Honey, which one of these buttons works for the microwave?
Yeah, when Kellen has to play daddy daycare and wife goes out to lunch with her girlfriends and Kellen has the kids at his house, I'm sure wife is very nervous in that regard. Tell me, where is this? What is this? It's like me in my kitchen. I don't know where a lot of the stuff is.
I'd like to think that Mrs. Kellen Moore is hired a nanny for those situations because I don't want to put Kellen Moore in charge of anything like that. That may be the most negative thing we've ever said about the dude in 15 years.
Where's the plain mustard?
SpaghettiOs. Do I microwave these or can I cook these on the stove? What am I doing here? Yeah, I love it.
I
man.
forgot the whole story about him eating the same sandwich
every single day,
Yeah,
the same exact sandwich every day. Kellen Moore watching tape there at Boise State. The reason we're doing this, we're having fun, kind of a brother-to-brother show. Kirby Moore, for the first time ever, is coming on Idaho Sports Talk at 5 o'clock. So that's going to be a terrific interview. Prater in the ball game. Let's get after it today, Prater. Jeremiah Dickey on Thursday, too, and Dirk Cutter. JP will talk about this a little later. A big night for the former Boise State head football coach. We'll get those details a little later as well. It's Prater in the ball game.
From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Studios, this is Ticket Traffic.